2 Kings chapter 11. وَأَطَلْيَاهُ إِمَ أَحَزِيَهُ رَاهَتَا كِيمَتْ بَنَاهُ. And Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead. وَتَقُمْ وَتَهَبِّدْ et kol zer'a hammamlaka. And she arose and she destroyed all the seed of the sovereignty or kingdom. وَاتِّقَهْ يَهُوشَبْعَ بَطَهَمَّلَكَ يورام أخوت أحزيه et Yoash ben Ahaziah. And Yehosheba, the daughter of the king Yoram, the sister of Ahaziah, took Yoash, the son of Ahaziah, Watignob oto mitok b'nei hamelech hamumatim. And she stole him away from the midst of the sons of the king, the ones being put to death. Oto wetemenikato bahadar hamitot. He and his nurse in the room of the beds. Wayasatiruhoto mipne atalayahu velo humat. And they hid him from the faces of Ataliyahu, and he was not put to death. Wayahi itah bet Yahweh mitahabbe sheth shanim. And he was with her in the house of Yahweh, one hiding himself 6 years. وَأَطَلَيَهُ مُلْكَةَ al-Harish. And Athaliah was one reigning over the land. وَبَشَّانَا هَشْبِعِي شَالَحْ يَهُويَادَعَ وَيِقَّهْ et sharre hameot lakari وَلَرَاشِيم وَيَابِهُوتَامْ هِلَيْوْ بِيت Yahweh. And in the 7th year Jehoiada sent, and he took the princes of the hundreds for the Kari and for the runners, and he brought them to him to the house of Yahweh. وَيِكْرُتْ لَهِمْ بَرِيتَ. And he cut for them a covenant. وَيَشْبَعْ أُوتَامْ بِبَيْتِ Yahweh. And he caused them to swear in the house of Yahweh. وَيَرْهُ أُوتَامْ et ben hamelech. And he showed them the son of the king. وَيَثَوِّمْ لَمُورَ the hadabar atar ta'ashun. And he commanded them, saying, This is the word which ye shall do. Hathalithit mikem ba'e hashabbat. The third from you, one's coming of the Shabbat, وَشُمْرِ مِشْمَرَتْ بَيْتَ hamelech. And one's keeping the keeping of the house of the king. وَهَثْلِثِيتْ بِثَغْرَ Sur. And the third in the gate of Sur. وَهَثْلِثِيتْ بَثَغْرَ أَخَرْ Harashim. And the third in the gate behind the runners. وَشَمَرَتِمْ et mishmeret habayit masah. And ye shall keep the keeping of the house a guard. Uthete hayadot bachem kol yoshe hashabbat. And 2 of the hands or companies among you, all the ones coming out of the Shabbat, وَشَامَرُوا et mishmeret beit Yahweh el hamelech. Also they shall keep the keeping of the house of Yahweh toward the king. وَهِقَّفْتَمْ عَلَىٰ مَلَكَ صَابِيبَ, and ye shall encompass over the king round about. Each man and his tools or weapons in his hand. وَحَبَّهُ الْحَشَدَيْرُوتَ يُمَاتُ, and the one coming to the ranks shall be put to death. وَهِيُّ الْمَلَكَ بَشَيْتُ وَبَوْ, and be ye with the king in his coming out and in his coming in. وَيَعْشُوا شَرَّ حَمَّوْتَ كَكُلَّ أَتْرَسِ وَيَهُويَدَعَ هَكُوهِنْ, and the princes of the hundreds effectuated like all which Jehoiada the priest had commanded. وَيَقَهُ إِيشَ إِتْهَنَاشَيْوْ بَاءِ هَشَّبَّاتِ إِمَ يُوشَهِ هَشَّبَّاتِ, and they took each man his men, one's coming of the Shabbat with one's going out of the Shabbat. وَيَابُوهُ الْيَهُويَدَعَ هَكُوهِنْ, and they came to Jehoiada the priest. وَيِتَّنْ هَكُوهِنْ لِشَرِّ هَمَّوْتِ את ההנית ואת השלטים אתר למלך דוד אתר בבית יהוה. And the priest gave to the princes of the hundreds the spear and the shields which were for the king David, which were in the house of Yahweh. وَيَعْمَدُوا هَرَّاشِيمَ إِيشَ وَخِلَي وَبَيَادُ مِكَتَفَ هَبَّيْتَ هَيَمَانِيتَ عَدَ كَتَفَ هَبَّيْتَ هَشِمَهَالِيتَ لَمِّذْبِحْ وَلَبَّيْتَ عَلَى هَمَّلَكَ صَابِيبَ. And the runners stood, each man and his weapons in his hand, from the right shoulder of the house as far as the left shoulder of the house, for the altar and for the house, over the king round about. وَيُوشِيهِ إِتْبَنَ هَمَّلَكَ, and he brought out the son of the king. وَيِتَّنَ عَلَيْهُ إِتْهَنَّزَرَ وَإِتْهَعِدُوتَ, and he gave upon him the crown and the testimony. وَيَمْلِكُوتُ وَيَمْشَحُوهُ, and they made him king, and they anointed him. وَيَكُوكَافُ, and they struck a hand, that is, they clapped. وَيُؤْمَرُ يَحْيِي هَمَّلَكَ, and they said, let the king live. وَتِشْمَعَ عَطَالِيَاهُ, and Athaliah heard, Ethqol Harashin Ha'am, the voice of the guard or runners of the people. Watavo El Ha'am Bet Yahweh, and she came to the people, to the house of Yahweh. Water Wihinne Hammelk Omed Alaha Amud cometh apart, and she looked, and behold the king, one standing upon the pillar, like the judgment. Wahasharim wahahathothrot elahamelech, and the captains or princes, and the straight horns toward the king. Wukol amharsh shamech, and all the people of the land rejoicing. Withoqe bahathothrot, and blowing by the straight horns. Watiqra Ataliyah et begadaha, and Ataliyah tore her garments. وَتِقَرَهَ قَشَرَ قَاشَرَ, and she called, Treason, treason! وَيَسْأَوْ يَهُويَدَعَ هَكُوهِنْ et شَرِّ هَمَّيْوت بِقُودِهَا حَيْلٍ. And Jehoiada the priest commanded the captains of the hundreds, ones mustered of the host, Wayomer Halehem Hoshihu Hotah Elamibet Lashaderot. And he said to them, Bring ye her out from within to the ranks. Wahabah Achareha Hamith Beharib, and the one coming after her put to death by the sword. Ki amar hakohen alatu matabet Yahweh, because the priest had said, Let her not be put to death in the house of Yahweh. Wayashimu lah yadaim, and they set for her hands, 2 hands, that is the breadth of 2 hands space. Watavoh derekamavoh hasusim bet hamelech, and she came the way of the entrance of the horses to the house of the king. Watumat tham, and she was slain there. Wayikarot Yehoiada et haberit, and Jehoiada cut the covenant ben Yahweh weben Hamelech weben Ha'am, between Yahweh and between the king and between the people, lihiyot la'am Yahweh, to be for a people for Yahweh, weben Hamelech weben Ha'am, and between the king and between the people. Wayavohu kol am ha'arsh bet habal wayithuhu, and all the people of the land came to the house of the Baal, and they broke it down. Et midbehotai we et salamai shibberu heteb, his altars and his images they broke well good. Ve'ete matanam kohen habal haragu lipne hamidbehot, and Matan, the priest of the Baal, they slew before the altars. Vayashem hakohen pekudot ala bet Yahweh, and the priest set appointed ones over the house of Yahweh. Wayiqah et sharre hameot, and he took the captains of the hundreds, with the Hakari, with the Harashim, with the Kol Amharish, and the Kari, and the runners, and all the people of the land, Wayoridu et Hamelech mibet Yahweh, and they brought the king down from the house of Yahweh. Wayavohu derek thachar harashim bet Hamelech, and they came the way of the gate of the runners to the house of the king. Wayetheb alakise hamalachim, and he sat upon the throne of the kings. Vayishmach kol am ha'arsh v'ha'ir shaqata, and all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was tranquil. Ve'et Ataliyahu hemitu b'herb bet Hamelech, and Ataliyahu they put to death by the sword at the house of the king. Ben Sheva Shanim Yehoash b'Moloko, the son of 7 years was Jehoash in his reign.